I was privy to the inner circle of IHOP, and its cover-up of what I consider to be a criminal matter. Accountability or the lack thereof is a very significant factor when examining groups like IHOP, or leaders like Mike Bickle. I was present at IHOP when Paul Cain was outed by Rick Joyner, Jack Deere, and Mike Bickle. As a minister of the gospel for over 30 years, I had stopped at IHOP while traveling, and was privy to the inner circle of IHOP, and its cover-up of what I consider to be a criminal matter. When Mike Bickle and others exposed Paul Cain, they did it in a way that covered up their own sin. I had youth in this movement tell me that they had been sexually abused by Paul Cain years before the exposure. It was well known by Bickle and Joyner that this was going on. They made a choice to cover it up. When I told the leadership that it was required by law to report this to the authorities if there was even a remote possibility that a victim could have been underage, they attacked me. Their response was that if I said anything to anyone, they would bring their considerable resources to bear, and destroy me and my ministry. They went so far as to reach into the country that I came from, and try to find any dirt on me that they could use. In one specific case of a youth abused, I informed them that this person had all the classic signs present before a mental breakdown. I told them that it was fine to pray for Paul, but what about the victims? They told me that the victim was fine, and who was I to tell them what to do? This ministry not only infects the body of Christ nationally, but internationally, and does so because there is no one to call them down. The matter of Paul Cain is of importance, because not only was there sexual sin, but also with another of their infamous prophets, as well as open drug use, alcohol use, and sexual sin amongst youth. I began to wonder why no one investigated this serious matter, until I realized that to do so would affect so many supporting churches and ministries. I believe this shows emphatically the consequences of the lack of accountability in so many corporation churches. No one in the body of Christ fully investigated this matter. It was said by one of the leaders at IHOP that Paul Cain had threatened to expose what he knew about many leaders in the body, and that they had to shut down the problem quickly. Apathy prevents the complete exposure of this problem to this day. Many sit and discuss IHOP's theology, which should be fully looked into, while missing this matter of Paul Cain. Leaders in this matter have stated openly that they knew of Paul Cain's problems years before his exposure, and ignored it because of his so-called gift. Look no further than this matter, and you will find the reason why you should stay far away from IHOP, and in fact should work to expose the heart of this movement. Additionally, think on this. Every time someone like Bickle is caught, there is a time where he says, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." Check and see how many times this has happened. When and how will there be consequences for misleading and deceiving people?